Awake, you who sleep, arise from the dead, and Christ will give you light. Ephesians 5 verse 14. Chosen one, close your eyes for a moment and imagine a world where you are no longer limited by physical or mental bonds, where the barriers you once knew disappear, and you become the architect of your own journey. Now, imagine that the deepest mysteries of the universe begin to unfold before you, like a flower slowly blooming in the sun. This is not a distant utopia but a state of being that we can all access. Spiritual awakening. But after all, what is spiritual awakening? It is not simply an abstract idea, but a profound journey, a path of self-knowledge and connection with something greater. A transformation that transcends the physical body and leads us to a deeper understanding of who we are and our place in the universe. Today we will explore the 12 stages of spiritual awakening together. Each step is a step towards a truth that has always been within your reach, but perhaps has never been seen so clearly. Are you ready for this journey, chosen one? Let the words resonate in your soul and let's move forward together. 1. Spiritual awakening, the inner call. The first stage of spiritual awakening is like a whisper that echoes in our mind and heart, a soft, persistent voice that comes from within. At first, it may just seem like a vague sensation, a silent discomfort, something that is difficult to describe but refuses to be ignored. It's that restlessness that arises in moments of silence, when the distractions of life recede and we find ourselves in front of ourselves. It's as if, amidst the noise of everyday life, a distant song reaches us, inviting us to listen more carefully, to look inside in a way we've never done before. This call is not like the urgent cries of modern life, but a gentle, almost imperceptible tug that leads us to question everything that once seemed so clear. Sometimes this feeling can arise at the most unexpected moments, on a quiet afternoon while watching the sunset, or on a silent night when the starry sky seems much bigger than your daily worries. It's a kind of longing, but not for a physical place. It is a longing for a state of being, for something that seems lost within ourselves. Chosen one, have you ever felt this inexplicable nostalgia? A desire for something you can't even name? This could be the beginning of your awakening, an invitation to look beyond what is visible, to discover what lies beyond the surface of life. This call is like a curtain that slowly opens, revealing a world that has always been there, but that our distracted eyes could not see. Imagine a dark room that you have lived in for years, accustomed to dim light, but now a sliver of light begins to appear through the window. This light is weak at first, but it awakens an irresistible curiosity, a desire to know what is out there, to explore what this new light can reveal. It's like when, as a child, you had the feeling that there was something magical in places you hadn't yet seen. Spiritual awakening is exactly that. It is rediscovering this curiosity for life, this search for what lies beyond. And why is this feeling so powerful, so difficult to ignore? Because it makes us realize that our life can be more than routines, obligations, and expectations. It makes us question the reality that we always take for granted and leads us to ask, is there more to the world than meets the eye? Am I limited to only what I can touch and see, or is there an entire universe waiting to be discovered within me? These questions are not banal. They are seeds that begin to germinate and grow within us. Each of them pushes us beyond the known, opening space for new perceptions and experiences. They invite us to set aside rigid certainties and adopt an open mind, like that of an explorer venturing into an unknown forest. And so, once this process begins, it is almost impossible to reverse. The feeling that there is something more persists, and it makes us seek answers that ordinary life cannot offer. But at the same time, this new vision is still vague, like a distant light that only hints at the landscape beyond the horizon. It's an intuition, a feeling that the world we know is just a layer, like the skin of a fruit that hides a much deeper flavor. We can go about our daily lives trying to ignore this call, but it always comes back, stronger, more insistent, like a melody repeating itself in our minds. Have you ever tried to ignore this feeling, chosen one? Have you ever tried to convince yourself that everything was fine, but something inside you kept asking, what if? Many try to silence this call, immersing themselves further in distractions, responsibilities, and social expectations. But the more we try to ignore it, the more it challenges us, pokes us, until finally we have no choice but to listen to it. It's like a small flame that burns in our heart, that no matter how much we try to put it out, refuses to die. And when we finally give in and accept that maybe there is something more, that maybe reality is not as simple as we believed, that flame begins to light a new, unknown, but irresistibly attractive path. Imagine, chosen one, if that distant light were a star in the sky, shining on a moonless night. At first, you barely notice its presence, lost among so many others. But little by little, your eyes begin to adjust to the darkness, and that star becomes clearer, brighter, until you can no longer look away. You feel that this star points to something important, something that needs to be discovered. What if this star was a reflection of your own soul, indicating that there is more to you than you ever imagined? As this awareness grows, you begin to realize that the physical world, with all its limitations, is just a thin layer over a much deeper reality. Like a lake whose surface reflects the sky, but whose waters hide entire worlds below. And so, spiritual awakening becomes an invitation to dive into these depths, to discover what hides beyond the waves of everyday life. Chosen, perhaps you feel that this journey is not easy, that it involves putting aside many certainties and embracing a new way of seeing life. And it's true, spiritual awakening often takes us into uncharted territory, where our old answers no longer serve us. But at the same time, it offers us a unique chance to rediscover who we are and what we really want. Do you have the courage to hear this call? To follow that star that shines within you? So, then get ready for a journey of discovery. Because, like every adventure, spiritual awakening begins with a choice. To listen to that inner voice, to follow that faint light on the horizon, and to open yourself to the possibility that there is much more waiting for you, beyond the walls of the known. Remember, chosen one, that you are not alone. This journey is shared by all those who, at some point, felt that life had something more to offer. Let's explore this path together, where each step reveals a new mystery, where each question brings us closer to our essence. And so, with an open heart and a curious mind, take the first step into the unknown. Listen to the call, follow the light. Spiritual awakening is waiting for you, like an old friend you haven't met in a long time. Are you ready for this journey? What is it within you, chosen one, that longs to be discovered? Let this question echo in your being as we move forward, unraveling the mysteries that await us. 2. The catalyst, discontent and restlessness. Spiritual awakening is often born from a constant feeling of discontent, something that throbs silently but, once noticed, cannot be ignored. It's like a small stone in your shoe, seemingly insignificant, but with each step it becomes more and more uncomfortable. At first glance, life may seem perfectly structured. A successful career, stable relationships, a comfortable home. But when you look more closely, a gap appears, a void that external achievements cannot fill. It's like a puzzle that, despite all the pieces apparently in place, reveals an image that is still incomplete. Chosen, have you ever felt this way? As if everything around you is in harmony, but inside, a part of you continues to feel disconnected, as if you lack true purpose? This feeling can be confusing and even scary, as we often come across it just when we believe we have achieved everything we have always wanted. It could be after achieving a prominent position, one that seemed to be the pinnacle of your professional career, but which now does not seem to be enough to give meaning to your days. Or who knows, a relationship that in everyone's eyes is perfect, but that doesn't touch the depths of your heart. This feeling of restlessness, far from being a mistake or a failure, is, in fact, a gift in disguise. It is what awakens us to the possibilities we have not yet explored, to the questions we avoid, and to the mysteries that remain latent in our being. Imagine for a moment being in a room that you have always considered home, but a new window suddenly opens, revealing an unfamiliar landscape. The room is still comfortable, but that new view, full of potential and mystery, makes you realize that there is something beyond. And now you can no longer ignore it. Have you experienced this, chosen one? This restlessness that beats like a distant drum, asking to be heard, reminding you that there is more to be explored? This discontent is actually an invitation to expand your horizons. And although it may seem disturbing, it carries a promise that there is more beyond what you can see now. It is a call to change, to question yourself, to open yourself to the new. Society often tells us that we should feel complete when we achieve certain goals: a degree, a marriage, a car, a house. But what if these achievements are just an initial stage, a foundation on which something much greater needs to be built? What if, in fact, this dissatisfaction you feel is a sign that your soul is ready to explore other dimensions of existence, to seek something that goes beyond material achievements? This feeling, this desire for something more, is not a mistake. On the contrary, it is the fuel that ignites the fire of inner transformation. Imagine yourself, chosen one, as a tree that has grown to its fullest in a pot. You are strong, healthy, but your roots want more. They want to break the limitations, they want to expand beyond the vessel that can no longer contain them. It is this impulse that leads us to seek what lies beyond known borders, to explore the mysteries of being and the universe. Discontent, therefore, is not a weakness but a powerful strength. It pushes us out of our comfort zone and makes us question the meaning of life, paving the way for new perceptions. This discomfort is the spark that ignites the flame of spiritual awakening. It's the feeling that there is something that needs to be discovered, that there is a deeper truth to be found. And once that flame ignites, it begins to burn with increasing intensity, driving us to seek answers and open ourselves to new possibilities. Chosen, what is it inside you that still cries out for meaning? What is that part that still feels that, despite all the achievements, it is not completely satisfied? We often ignore this feeling, thinking it is just a phase or that we need more achievements to fill the void. But this discomfort is like a guide, showing us that there is something we need to look at head-on, that there is a part of our soul that has not yet been discovered. And in this process, questions arise that cannot be ignored. Why am I here? What is my true purpose? Is there something beyond what I can touch and see? These questions begin to reverberate within us, and the more we try to silence them, the more they gain strength. Each achievement that seemed to be the final answer turns out to be a new question. And little by little, we realize that what we really seek is not outside of us, but at the core of our being. Discontent is the beginning of the journey inward. It challenges us to look beyond appearances and confront the illusions we carry. And although it can be a painful process, it is also deeply liberating. Because when we accept that this discomfort is an invitation to explore a new reality, we open ourselves to a transformation that brings us closer to our essence. And you, chosen one, are you ready to accept this invitation? Are you willing to look inside yourself and discover what this discontent has to reveal? Imagine that each of us is like a traveler traveling through a desert in search of an oasis. For a long time, the desert can seem endless, and the hot sun of our doubts can tire us. But then, a mirage appears in the distance, a glimpse of water and life. This discontent is like this mirage. It is the first sign that there is an oasis ahead, a place of renewal and truth. It takes courage to keep walking, not to give up halfway, even when everything seems dry. But as we persisted, we discovered that the mirage was, in fact, a real promise, proof that our search had meaning. What would you do, chosen one, if you knew there was something much greater waiting for you beyond the horizon of discontent? This emptiness you feel is not a failure, it is the path that leads you away from mediocrity, to a place where you can explore the mysteries of your being, where you can connect with something greater than yourself. And by listening to this restlessness, by accepting that it is part of your path, you begin to realize that emptiness is not an end, but a beginning, a portal to a new phase of your life, where you become your own explorer of your soul. Don't rush to fill this void with more distractions, more external goals, more superficial achievements. Instead, listen to let it guide you within yourself, to those parts you have not yet fully discovered. Because it is there, in this space between the known and the unknown, that the true journey of spiritual awakening begins. And remember, there is no map that can tell you how to cross this desert. But there is something inside you, a silent guide that knows the way. Just have the courage to follow. Chosen one, if you feel that this call has resonated in your heart, then you have already taken the first step. Listen to the voice of discontent, accept the discomfort, and allow yourself to be taken beyond the boundaries of what you know. This is the beginning of a transformation that will change the way you see yourself in the world. This is the beginning of your awakening. Are you ready to keep walking? 3. The beginning of the search, deep questions. This stage is characterized by questions that begin to emerge from the depths of our soul. What is the true purpose of my life? Why am I here? What really matters? Is there a greater meaning behind all this? These questions are not just intellectual, but they come from a deep place, as if something inside us is moving in search of answers. And with these questions, the search begins. A search for something deeper that transcends the material, that goes beyond possessions, status, and earthly achievements. It is at this moment that we realize that life has more to offer than what is visible. Chosen one, answer. Have you ever found yourself wondering what your true purpose is? Have you ever felt like there is a greater calling waiting for you? Maybe it's time to follow these questions and see where they lead you. 4. The phase of first revelations, new perceptions. As we begin to search, our perceptions begin to change. We begin to see beyond the surface and notice the hidden connections between all things. The world around us, which previously seemed simple and linear, reveals itself as a complex web of relationships and meanings. It is as if a veil has been lifted from our eyes, and for the first time, we can see the true colors of reality. At this stage, many people begin to feel more connected to nature, art, and music in ways they have never experienced before. Moments of silence take on a new flavor, and time alone becomes an opportunity for introspection. Have you ever had moments when everything around you seemed more alive, more vibrant? These moments can be signs that your perception is expanding. Embrace this new vision, chosen one, and let it guide you closer to your truth. 5. Confrontation with the shadows, the awakening of the unconscious. At this stage, the journey begins to deepen. To move forward, it is necessary to face the shadows that live within us. They are those parts of our psyche that we avoid, deny, or repress. Carl Jung, the famous Swiss psychiatrist, once said that the man who does not face his shadows will never find the light. Confronting these shadows is not easy. It requires courage to look at the fears, traumas, and insecurities that have hidden in our unconscious for so long. It's an inner battle that brings us face to face with our demons, but also frees us from the prison we ourselves create. Chosen one, do you have the courage to look at the parts of yourself that you have always tried to hide? If so, then you are ready for the next step of your journey. 6. Purification by fire, resistance, and growth. After facing our shadows comes the purification process. It's like gold that needs to be melted so that its impurities are removed, revealing its true shine. At this stage, we go through challenges that test us deeply. The resistance we encounter may seem harsh, but it is precisely what strengthens us and prepares us for a fuller life. Here, doubts and temptations to return to the comfort zone often arise. Resistance is proof that we are moving towards something greater. Every obstacle is an opportunity to strengthen yourself and overcome old limitations. Chosen one, what are you willing to give up to become who you really are? The path to transformation is not easy, but the freedom it brings is incomparable. 7. The courage to face the abyss, the leap into the unknown. There is a moment when we are faced with the abyss, a vast space of uncertainty and fear. This is where we need to abandon the old and launch ourselves into the new, even without knowing for sure what we will find. This is where true faith is tested, not in something external, but in our own potential to face the unknown. The abyss can be frightening, but it is also where the deepest transformation lies. Every step we take towards the unknown brings us closer to our essence and our purpose. Would you have the courage to leave behind everything you know to explore new possibilities? What would you find if you had the courage to leap into the unknown? 8. Rebirth and rediscovery, the rise of inner truth. After crossing the abyss, rebirth occurs. It's like a phoenix that rises from the ashes, being reborn into a new life, more aligned with who we really are. Here, we realize that the journey was not to transform us into something different, but to reveal our essence, which was always there, waiting to be rediscovered. Chosen, have you ever felt like you were rediscovering yourself? As if the version of yourself you're meeting now has always been there, hidden beneath layers of conditioning and expectations? 9. The feeling of oneness, connecting to the whole. With rebirth comes a new perception, that we are not isolated beings but parts of a greater whole. It is the realization that every being, every star, every leaf, tree is part of a great cosmic dance. We feel a deep connection with everyone around us, and we begin to see life as a continuous flow, where all beings have their role and value. This perception of unity brings a peace that words cannot describe, a feeling of belonging to the universe. Have you ever felt in deep harmony with the world, as if everything was connected in perfect sync? This is the call of unity, chosen one. 10. The synchronicities, the universe speaks. When we are aligned with our purpose, we begin to notice signs and synchronicities around us. These are those moments when the universe seems to speak to us, like when we see repeating numbers, meet the right people at the right times, or notice coincidences that seem significant. These synchronicities are a way for the universe to guide us, confirming that we are on the right path. These are messages that remind us that we are not alone and that the journey is supported by a greater force. Chosen one, have you noticed signs that appear in your life? What could they be trying to tell you? Maybe it's time to start listening more carefully. 11. Co-creation with the universe, becoming an architect of destiny. With the realization that we are part of the whole comes the understanding that we are also co-creators of our reality. Our thoughts, intentions and emotions have immense power to shape our lives and the world around us. It's like adjusting the sails of a boat on a vast ocean. We can't control the wind, but we can direct our path. The universe is like a mirror that reflects our energy, responding to our deepest desires and intentions. When we align our thoughts with what we truly desire, the magic of manifestation begins to happen. Chosen one, have you ever stopped to reflect on the power your thoughts have? What would you create if you knew the universe was on your side, ready to help? 12. Unconditional love, compassion and acceptance of all that is. The final stage of spiritual awakening is the understanding and practice of unconditional love, not just for oneself but for all beings. It is a love that transcends the limitations of the ego, that does not make distinctions or judgments, that does not depend on exchanges or expectations. It is a love that flows like a powerful river, which spreads naturally, touching everything and everyone around it, involving each being in its gentle and welcoming current. This love knows no barriers, it expands and transforms into a deep compassion, a feeling that allows us to truly feel the pain of the other as if it were our own pain, and the joy of the other as if it were our own joy. Imagine, chosen one, a world where each of us could look each other in the eye and see a reflection of our own soul, where we could recognize that, behind the masks and differences, we all share the same essence. Compassion arises from this understanding, from this deep look at the other, and invites us to extend a hand without hesitation, to forgive without reservation and to understand without judging. When we connect to this love, we put aside the need to point out mistakes or seek revenge, because we realize that each being is on a unique journey, learning the lessons that life gives them in their own time and at their own pace. With this acceptance, we begin to see life in a lighter way. We stop resisting what happens around us and begin to flow with events, like a dancer who follows the rhythm of the music without trying to control it. Instead of fighting challenges, we learn to embrace them as teachers, as opportunities to grow and transform ourselves. Every difficulty becomes a chance to expand our hearts, to discover a new facet of our own strength, to practice patience and to cultivate wisdom. Mistakes are no longer reasons for shame and become steps on the ladder of evolution. Gratitude then becomes our guide. Gratitude not only for moments of joy and success, but for every pain, every stumble and every tear shed. Because we understand that everything is part of the soul's maturing process. Chosen one, have you ever experienced the beauty of being grateful even for the pains you faced? To see in them not just suffering but precious teachings that shaped who you are today? Gratitude turns every moment into an opportunity to celebrate life, to realize that despite all the storms, there is always something to be appreciated. And when adopting this stance of acceptance and unconditional love, something magical happens. Life, which previously seemed chaotic and unpredictable, reveals itself as a harmonious dance where each step, even the most difficult ones, is part of a larger choreography. We begin to live with an open heart, able to see the beauty in small things, like a stranger's smile, the warmth of the sun on a cold day or the soft sound of falling rain. Every detail becomes a miracle, every encounter an opportunity to share love and compassion. Chosen, imagine what it would be like if you could look at every being around you, even those who challenged you, with eyes of compassion and unconditional love? What if you could forgive yourself for all the mistakes of the past and welcome yourself with the same love you would give to a dear friend? This is the transformation that unconditional love offers us, the chance to free ourselves from the shackles of judgment and embrace the truth that at our core, we are all worthy of love and understanding. This internship is not about isolating yourself in a bubble of positivity or denying the difficulties of the world, but about understanding that true strength lies in kindness, in the ability to offer a shoulder, a friendly word, a smile even in moments of pain. It is knowing that compassion begins within us and radiates outward, like a flame that warms our own heart before illuminating others. Chosen one, have you allowed yourself to be a source of light for those around you? Have you ever experienced the transformative power of an act of kindness, no matter how small? By practicing this unconditional love, we become bridges between humanity and the divine, channels that bring a little more peace, healing and hope to the world. And so, we become not only awakened but also awakened to those around us. The path continues. As we close this in-depth exploration of the 12 stages of spiritual awakening, remember, chosen one, that the spiritual journey is like a river that follows its course, flowing through valleys and mountains, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, but always in motion. Each of us walks at our own pace, and the important thing is not the speed with which we advance, but the depth with which we experience each step. True beauty is in each moment of discovery, in each new perception, in each awakening that brings us closer to our essence. Life is a constant teacher, and every experience, no matter how simple it may seem, carries a valuable lesson for the soul. The journey of awakening has no end, because there are always new layers to be unveiled, new truths to be revealed. What matters is the willingness to keep walking, to keep learning, to keep opening yourself to the mystery of the universe. If this journey has touched your heart, share this message with someone special. Chosen, together we can walk this path of self-knowledge and mutual support, because as Ram Dass said, we're all just walking each other home. Leave a comment below. Which internship resonated most with you? Subscribe to the channel to continue this journey with us, and remember, every step, no matter how small, is a step towards your truth, your inner light. Let's go together, because the journey of awakening is more beautiful when shared.